what's the best BMX bike to commute on? Well, I'll tell you like this. Any BMX bike can be made to commute on. It's just how you set your bike up that is the most important part. People are exposed to some of the whacker looking 20-inch BMX bikes when they go to like Walmart and places like that, or to your local bike shop sometimes. Most of the time, you don't even see a 20-inch BMX race bike. There are recommended ways to do your specific discipline. There are recommended suggestions on the type of parts that you should have to optimize your performance, but these things are not 100% necessary for you to begin racing, or for you to begin riding, or for you to enjoy yourself on your bike. BMX has always had a style. Whether it's your jersey, whether it's the color of your bike, your form of expression, your style. And people, for some reason, have a problem with that. You don't have to have carbon gear. If you don't like carbon parts, run aluminum parts. If you don't like aluminum parts, run commodity parts. But to be anti whatever is just silly. Yo, what's up everybody? Out here in the streets again on my 20-inch, and I'm in a rush to the city, running a little late. Well, I just gotta be on point, basically. I gotta be on to the point. So right now we're by Cuningham, and we're gonna do straight up POV from the chesty on the 20. Riding the 20-inch right now, and I gotta get to the city at a relatively fast time. Whew. The wind is blowing a little bit against me. And I haven't ridden in a little bit, but whatever I was riding gave my legs some more power, and I'm realizing how easy this gear is that I got on my bike. This is 4215, feeling dumb easy, almost too easy. Which is a good thing. It means my legs are stronger. So I want to get my, might be time to throw the old 4516 back on. That'd be nice. Because I really wanted my legs to be strong enough to really spin 4516. Yeah. Beautiful day out. It's in the 60s. The 60s. Got a little bit of a wind blowing kinda against me. So we're here at Horace Chill. And I'm gonna go across the street. Chill. That worked out. And I gotta put on Strava. Chill. And we're gonna take the Greenway once again. It has the least car traffic, number one. And has the least car traffic, has more bike lane than most of the other trips. So I'll be taking that way. Get it going on. So that's what we're gonna do. But first we gotta go down Horace. Woo! I'm feeling really fast on the bike today. That's a good look. Because I do have a time crunch. Whew. While I'm taking the Underhill bike lane into the Kissena Park. Here. Whew. So I gotta head to the city. Get to destination change and go to the next location. Because where I gotta go, I don't think I could park my bike. So I gotta go one location, park the bike, change into my outfit, then head to the work site. Oh yeah. Alright. But man, it is a beautiful day for a ride. It's not super hot. It's not too chilly. I can throw my shorts on and be alright. Bike is running really good and I haven't done any service to it with the exception of putting my racing tires back on and my front wheel, my spoked front wheel back on. That's pretty much it. Riding pretty good. I think I sprayed the chain. I think I might have sprayed the chain with some WD-40. I definitely need to replace the chain though. After the winter it's had. Whew. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Right now I'm on a 20-inch sugarcane, New Bridge. Once again. And since we're doing this route that you guys have seen several times before, I think I'll take the time to talk about some things. Now I'm going to fly off the top of the dome, so I'm not going to be able to remember who asked some of these questions, but I'm going to reply to a couple of questions I had on YouTube about a couple things. Number one being, what's the best BMX bike to commute on? What is the best BMX bike to commute on? Well, I'll tell you like this. Any BMX bike can be made to commute on. It's just how you set your bike up. That is the most important part. The other important part is that you also have lots of different sizes of BMX bikes. So for me, when it comes to BMX bikes, in particular discipline of BMX bike that I would recommend, definitely would be a BMX racing bike. A BMX racing bike is what I would recommend for commuting in the most efficient way, for me at least. And the reasons why I say that is because BMX racing bikes are lighter, made out of aluminum. BMX racing bikes that are chromoly are made of a lighter chromoly. If you get a racing one like an S&M or a standard, they have a little bit lighter of a way they built it to keep the weight down with that chromoly strength up. And one of the most important things, especially if you are an older or taller rider, is that you have more sizes to choose from, meaning top tube length. So on this bike right here, this is my personal bike, Kissena New Bridge. Top tube on this bike is 21.8 inches on the top tube. Now, if you guys are from back in the day, the old school cats, you guys know that most of the bikes back in the day, in the 80s, were like 19.5, 20 inches, and then later on down the line, 21 inch. But guys who are, like 5'11", 5'10", and better, come to realize that having an even longer bike is even better, more stable. When you're racing, you can go in between the deep rollers better, and also the longer the top tube, a lot of times that goes with a longer chainstay, which makes your overall wheelbase longer, which makes your bike more stable again, more stable over the rollers, more stable in the air when you jump, but also a more comfortable ride when you're doing commuting or riding long distance. Another key factor is riding with a taller seat post. Set your BMX racing bike up for commuting. So like on this bike here, I have a seat extension. If you guys haven't seen my previous videos, I have a seat extension on this bike. Maybe you can see it now, where it extends your seat post height safely without bending your seat tube where you put the where the frame, where the top tube and chainstay meet the seat tube. A lot of times when your seat's up really high and you're sitting down, all that leverage and pressure will stress it out and wind up bending or tearing the tubing right there where your seat tube is above the chainstay and seat tube. Well, the seat extension adds more. The seat extension adds more support for that. It actually sits on top of the seat tube, so it's like an extension, a literal extension of the seat tube. You also have tube from that seat tube that goes within the seat tube, of course, and then you drop your normal seat post in to the seat extension, and you can have a nice long seat post where you can sit higher or a little bit lower and get down like that. So that's the reason why the seat extension is really good, especially if you're on a 20-inch bike, a 20-inch BMX racing bike, because BMX racing bikes, modern day BMX racing bikes, have a low profile top tube. So basically, the top tube points more downward than straight across or up, like a road bike. Sometimes they point up, mini velo point up, stuff like that. BMX bikes used to slope down just a little bit. Some of the old bikes from the 80s went straight back, but most modern day BMX race bikes are low profile, and the reason why they do that is so you can have your seat post lower and you have way more room to play with when you're trying to negotiate over jumps and rollers and whoops in really high speed situations. You need all that room to play with. You gotta crouch and turn and all kind of stuff, and the more your bike is out of your way for those maneuvers, the better. And that's the reason why BMX race bikes have a low profile top tube. And when you make a low profile top tube, that means your seat tube is going to be a lot lower than normally. So you have that. So on this bike right here, my racing bike, and I built it to be like a racing bike plus, all around bike, so trails and racing and of course commuting. But on this bike right here, my top tube slopes down a little bit more. So I can get a shot of that while I'm still riding. Let's see if we can do that without dying. Maybe you can see it now. I can't stop. But yeah, so maybe you can see that the top tube slopes down a little bit more. And then you have some other racing bikes where the top tube really slopes down. So you really need a seat extension to make up for that. So there is that. The other good thing about having a 20-inch BMX racing bike, or just BMX bike in general, as a commuter, takes up a smaller footprint. So, you can take the seat post off. Or it's easy to carry. It's not as heavy, not as big. So it makes it more flexible when it comes to storing it. Or if you have to walk up a bunch of steps and things like that, you can easily carry them. Not to mention, if it's a BMX racing bike, it's light. You do have some options for getting BMX racing bikes as completes. There are a couple of brands that offer BMX racing bikes as completes, but of course you'll have to get at least the seat extension to get to a good seating height for commuting, if you feel like you're gonna be sitting down a lot, which I'm doing right now. And the good thing about sitting down, as opposed to me sitting up today, standing up today, I mean, is that way I'm not overexerting myself. But I do want to get myself conditioned to a point where I can stand up for most of the trip when I'm pedaling, as opposed to sitting down. But today, it's my first day back in a couple of days after not doing anything. So, sitting down is the way to go. This gear ratio is really good since my legs feel up to the task today. I'm just kind of whipping through everything right now. I ain't mad at that. And I'm not too tired, which is good. Yeah, so the lighter the bike, the better for traveling, carrying a bike, transport, all that good stuff. But you also have other options. You have BMX cruisers, 24-inch BMX race bikes, which would be my next choice, a 24-inch BMX race bike. Now with 24-inch BMX cruisers, you gotta be mindful of the top tube length, because what may be long top tube length for a 20-inch is not long for a 24-inch. So if I had a 21/8 top tube on my 20-inch for myself, on a cruiser, 24-inch cruiser, I would need it to be slightly longer, depending on how my top tube slopes. So my 24-inch has a longer top tube than my 20-inch, and it's really, really comfortable. But that top tube also slopes down enough for me to want to have a seat post extender for that bike as well. And I need to do some videos on that bike. I haven't been putting that bike to work. Gotta put that bike to work. Get on some commutes. Well, I'm waiting to change my tires though. Get a new set of power blocks for it. Power block tires. Got a little climb here, going next to Queen's Botanical Garden. Woo! Feeling pretty good. Didn't think I would feel this good riding today. See how long this lasts. But yeah. What else was I gonna say? Yeah, so you also have 24-inch BMX cruisers, but you also have in-between sizes. You have the OS 20, which is another great size. It's the perfect blend between, it's basically a 20-inch, slightly bigger, so you get more forgiveness, a little more smoother, a little more stable, and it's probably an excellent choice for commuting if you don't want to go full-on 20-inch. But before we get to the other sizes, there's also handlebar height. So for me, well, when you race, a lot of people who race want to use a lower handlebar height, 8-inch. Sometimes people do 7.5, some people do 7. I came from the 8.5 school when I was really racing a lot. I raced with an 8.5 rise handlebar height. And when I hurt my back, I realized that having that low handlebar height was hard on my back, because I had injured my back before. So when I was trying to pull out the gate, just to leaning over, which is beneficial when you want to come out the gate strong and get ahead of everybody. But if your back is sensitive or a little janky, you want to stand in a more upright position. Well, in BMX racing, if you stand up in too much of an upright position, it's detrimental to your gate start if you're racing against other people that are on point. So most people race with a shorter handlebar height. Anyways, long story short, when you're commuting and you want to be more comfortable on your bike, you want to use a taller handlebar. Now, I have 12 handlebars on this bike. These are 9.25 Race XLTs by S&M, so they're strong chromoly handlebars made for racing, so they're light, but they're also tall, which I got specifically to give me more leverage on my bike, which is a little bit longer. So I want to be able to kind of have the feel of being able to easily pull my front end up for a bunny hop, or if I'm trying to go over something. A lot of times I take these long breaks in between rides and I gotta reacclimate myself to my bike, but the more that it's set up in a way where I don't have to do too much acclimating to it, the better. So, if I wind up not racing for the whole week or riding my bike for the whole week, then I run to a track and want to get used to my bike on the track. For me, it's better that I'm able to get used to it quickly. And I have found that when my bike is set up in a way where it's really optimal for me to race on, if I'm not totally tuned in physically, then it becomes a little harder to get used to. Anyways, long story short, when I went taller with the handlebars, it just felt better. Everything felt easier. Everything felt better. And then when I went to start to commute more with my 20-inch, and I had brought the seat extension, the 9.25 rise, put my hands in the right spot, like I'm in a perfect seating position for myself to cruise around. So, can't be mad at that. Can't be mad at that. So keep that in mind, your handlebar height. You don't want to be, well, some people do want to be hunched over. Me personally, I'm not really a fan of that position. But it is a benefit to that when you're trying to go fast and things like that, especially if you're on a road bike. All right, so next up, OS 20. It's the next size up, just by a little bit, but it makes a major difference. Then after that, you have an actual 22-inch. Early on in the 22-inch era, GT had a 22-inch BMX racing bike. Mikey Day, I believe he was the one that was kind of pioneering that whole thing. But nowadays, you won't really find BMX racing bikes in 22-inch. And I'm talking about 22-inch wheel size, diameter of the wheel. 22-inch is mostly found on BMX freestyle, BMX street bikes, which you can also convert to a BMX racing bike if you want. All you gotta do is put lighter BMX racing parts on your BMX freestyle bike. Only thing is if you're a little bit taller, you're gonna have a hard time finding BMX freestyle bikes that'll give you the leg room that you really want to sit and cruise around. But they're out there though. You can also get custom bikes, custom frames made by layered frames. Standard makes custom frames, and a couple other companies make custom BMX frames, and you also have some of the fam from the cycling community that make road bikes and things like that. They also have a lot of welders that do custom builds, so they'll probably make a little custom frame for you. But anyways, you want a if you're taller, I say 5'10" and up, definitely want a longer top tube than the average BMX freestyle bike. But you can find 22-inch wheel size BMX freestyle bikes around. Next size up is a 24-inch, as I mentioned already. 24-inch BMX racing bike. They also come in freestyle. They also come in old school style. So you have a different variety of frame types, where you may have the racing frames will have the low profile top tube. The retro ones will have more of a straighter top tube. So you may not really need a seat post extension for those bikes. So it's really just a matter of getting your bike set the way it makes you comfortable. You have a single speed. So somebody asked me about gear ratio and crank size and stuff like that. And right now I'm running a 42 in the front, 15 in the back. My sprocket is a 42. My cog in the back is a 15. Crank arm length is 175 millimeter. I used to run 180s, but I went to 175s. I found my spin to be better for 175s than 180s. And I also want my transition from bike to bike to be pretty similar when it comes to my pedal cadence. So my 24-inch has 175s. My 26-inch has 170s, and the 27.5 has 170s. Gravel bike got 170s, and transitioning between those bikes and my 20 when it comes to pedaling is really good. It doesn't feel awkward or weird, and I get to retain my little pedaling cadence. So there is that. Woo! We're just cruising along today. All right. Next up is as far as an ideal bike out the box for commuting. Like I said, any BMX racing bike. So the SC bikes, the Elite PK Ripper racing line, they have 24-inch, and they also have 20-inch, and they also have 20-inch XL. But if you want to go, and if you guys don't know, XL on the 20-inch BMX racing bike means the length of the top tube is longer, and possibly the chainstay is longer. On the SEs, chainstays are 14 inches, 14.9 inches. My bike in particular is 14.6. Some racing bikes go up to 15, 15.2, stuff like that. Okay, I'm going through. And the longer the rear end, the harder it is to pull up for wheelies and manuals and stuff. But once you get used to it, you have a lot of room to play with when it comes to those types of maneuvers. But so the SE PK Ripper Elite, you have Chase Element, which is another high-end BMX racing bike. And like I said, all you gotta do is get a C-post extender. Those bikes usually come with 180 millimeter cranks. You have to look online. Sometimes they come with 175s, but for the most part, they come with 180 millimeter cranks, which gives you more leverage when it comes time to do your pedal stroke. And you have, I think they come up until double XL, if I'm not mistaken. You can get them in the XL size, double XL. Double XL is definitely recommended for my taller riders, 5'10" and up. Definitely need to get a C extender for that. Mongoose, but they haven't come with any new stuff yet. But when they do come, they'll have their title line of bikes. Oh, let me go back to Chase. Chase has the Element. They also have the Edge, which is a cheaper, a less expensive version of the Element. Well, it's its own version, basically. It's a more affordable 20-inch race frame, race bike, actually, complete. I think those come also in the XL and maybe a double XL. And then you have position 1, which makes BMX race bikes even more affordable, but I don't think they come in the double XL size. I think they come up to Pro, maybe Pro XL. I'm going off the top of the head, so I might have to put some of this stuff on the screen. Know what I mean? Then you also have Mongoose, the Mongoose title line of BMX racing bikes. They come in 24-inch. They come in pro sizes. They have different levels. They have the affordable title. Then they have the title elite. Then they have the title team. Hopefully the new ones will be coming out soon. But they still have some in stock that you can get. So there's that. Who else makes completes? You might be able to find some DKs around in the stores. I don't know if they have any new ones, but you can definitely find some still left over in the shops. If you want to go a little more retro, Skyway TA, I believe they have another round of completes that are coming out for the Skyway TA. 24-inch, you have a lot more options for 24-inch because you have Throne and Mafia, SC, Chase. I know I'm missing a couple. Oh yeah, Inspire, Mebo. If you can get them over here in the States, they have completes. So, a lot of options. You guys gotta check out J&R Bike Shop, Dance Comp, Powers Bike Shop, Planet BMX. Check out all of those online destinations. City Grounds, check them out. They have a lot of the bigger size bikes that you can check out. And yeah, probably find something that's legit and that looks good, you know. A lot of times people are exposed to some of the whacker looking 20-inch BMX bikes when they go to like Walmart and places like that, or to your local bike shop sometimes. Most of the time you don't even see a 20-inch BMX race bike. So definitely check online. You'll see the selection of BMX race bikes they are. Things to look out for. You definitely want either an aluminum frame for a racing bike. Chromoly bike, you definitely want 100% chromoly bikes. There are manufacturers out there who make more affordable BMX bikes that are not 100% chromoly. They will be, the top tube, the down tube will be chromoly, but the whole rear end, the seat tube and the seat stay and the chain stay will be high tensile steel, which is heavier and just not as good as chromoly. So those things to keep in mind. But if you're not doing nothing crazy, if you're just commuting, you can still get on one of those bad boys and make the most of it. And then you can save up and either buy some parts for it to hook it up. So you can buy racing parts for it to make it lighter and faster and more comfortable. You know, you still have to buy the seat post extension, things like that. But the cool thing, the flip side to all that is you can also take it to a skate park and ride it around. Just take your tall seat post out, put your lower seat on, seat post on, and then you can just have some fun at the skate parks or the BMX track or the pump track. So that's a good look, a very good look. So that's pretty much all I got for the best bike for you to pick for a 20-inch bike or a BMX bike for a commuter. That's pretty much my thoughts on that. I've been commuting back and forth to the city on a 20-inch BMX for a long time. A long time. I used to do it on a Mongoose Solution back in the day. The legendary Mongoose Solution. Same height that I am now. And the top tube on that bike was a 21. A 21. I believe it's 21. 21-inch top tube on the Solution. Let me know in the comments. I forgot. It's either 21. Definitely wasn't 21.5. Definitely was not that. Had to be 21. I've commuted with the Skyway TA, the Repop 2013 Skyway TA, 20-inch. Top tube on that bad boy was a 21.5. Top tube was taller, it wasn't as low profile. So I was able to just rock a tall seat post on that bad boy and commute. No problemo. I mean, those are like the two main bikes I really commuted on. And then, of course, now I ride my Sugar Kings and the gravel bike and whatever bike now. But yeah, I've ridden a variety of bikes, BMX bikes, back and forth to the city. So there's that. Can I go past? Thanks, bro. You are the man. Thanks, man. Yeah. So there's that. And right now we are making moves. We are going down Northern Boulevard, just cruising. And we're getting to the city pretty fast. This feels like I'm going fast. And my legs aren't tired. I'm not winded. That's a good thing. I was afraid I might be. But my 26-inch has a harder gear. Most definitely has a harder gear than this bike. And I'm feeling the benefits of riding around with that hard gear now, because this gear feels nice and easy. Which means when I go to a race, maybe I'll come out the gate pretty fast and maybe get a whole shot. Ooh, that'd be nice. But we'll have to see. But I really want my legs to be tuned up for a 45-16, because at least I know if I get that gear up to speed, I can clear some nice size doubles. But we'll see how that all plays out. Anyways, we're just making moves, man. The wind's blowing with me, obviously, because if it was blowing against me, it'd be a problem right now. One thing about riding behind the car real close is if they go over a pothole and you don't see it, especially if you're on a 20-inch, that'd be a bad thing. That wouldn't be nice. Whew. Definitely not recommended. Woo! Oh man, it's so nice when the wind's blowing with you. Real nice. And the cool thing about Northern Boulevard is I don't think I stopped yet. Just keep it moving. Making good time on this bad boy. If I was on 34th Ave, I definitely would have had to stop. Simply because some of those intersections are pretty blind. So you don't know if something's coming or not. Not to mention, you want to go a little slower when you have like a lot of pedestrians around. And it's also a little hilly. But right now we're doing pretty good with time. I'm curious to see how my legs do. No, don't do that because it's gonna hit me. Curious to see how my legs are gonna do on the bridge after all this sprint pedaling I've been doing. This looks like the first light I'm gonna catch, huh? Maybe not. Oh, nice. I got through it. Oh yeah. Just cruising down the block. Whew. They want the bikes to stop. Okay. First stop. Went from 108th to 51st without stopping. That was a good run. Yeah, and the bike's running really smooth. Considering the fact that I have not done any spring maintenance to it after riding through the snow and all that. It's moving nice. Oh yeah, let's go. This way. Still flowing. Might have to stop here though. That light's definitely gonna change. Oh yeah. Good stuff. Alright, let me see. What else? What else? Ah! Okay. Another thing is I think it was All Things BMX podcast. Check them out. That awesome podcast. I was featured on there a couple of times actually. But they posed a question on Facebook, something along the lines of what's like the worst thing about BMX, or what things need to change in BMX or something like that. BMX, not specifically BMX racing, but a lot of BMX racers listen to the podcast. So a lot of answers were in regards to BMX racing. You had people complaining about the national scene, the pro payout. They were complaining about carbon parts. They were complaining about just all kind of stuff. And I had to chime in on that bad boy. And you know, when it comes to BMX racing, cycling in general, there are recommended ways to do your specific discipline. There are recommended suggestions on the type of parts that you should have to optimize your performance. But these things are not 100% necessary for you to begin racing, or for you to begin riding, or for you to enjoy yourself on your bike. Just like I mentioned earlier about some things that will make your commute better. They're not necessary, but they will make your commute better. One thing I do think is necessary is getting the right size bike. So that one right there, definitely. But what people complain about are things that are just options that you can choose to make your race better or your ride better. Or let's just say, hey, I want my bike to look fly. Nothing wrong with that. You know, that was another complaint. People think that, you know, BMX is not fashionable. Or there's no fashion in BMX, or, you know, it's not a fashion show. There was never a point in time in BMX where BMX was not fashionable. So let's stop doing that. That's a big old myth. From all the way back in the day to now, BMX has always had fashion, a style. Whether it's your jersey, whether it's the color of your bike, your form of expression, your style. And people, for some reason, have a problem with that, which is really weird to me, because even if you don't have a quote-unquote style, That is a style in itself. So yes, there is style in fashion with the way you jump, you ride, the type of clothes you wear, the type of bike you run, the color coordination, and all that good stuff. So there's that. Also, people are under the idea, or maybe under the fake idea, that you have to run the most expensive high-end parts in order to race. And that's not true. That's not true at all. You can race with whatever bike you want, depending on what class you're racing. If you're racing in a class basically means 20-inch. So if you have a 20-inch bike, then you can race in your class. If you have anything bigger than that, 22-inch, 24, 26, 27.5, cyclocross, mountain bike, dirt jumper, you can race in the cruiser class. And there's also a mountain bike class for mountain bikes, dirt jumper class for dirt jumpers on the BMX track. So you can basically pretty much run what you bum when it comes to BMX racing. You don't have to have carbon gear. If you don't like carbon parts, run aluminum parts. If you don't like aluminum parts, run commodity parts. But to be anti whatever is just silly and discriminatory towards other people who want to ride that stuff, and vice versa. And then also, let's say you want to splurge. You said, hey, when I was a kid, I ain't had no money for no bikes. Now I got some money in my pocket. I'm gonna splurge on my bike. I'm gonna get all kind of carbon parts. I'm gonna get the most expensive cranks, most expensive everything. That's how I want to do it. And hey, go ahead and do that. Have fun with it. There's nothing wrong with that. Don't let nobody intimidate you into believing that you can't buy those things. So you have all different types of levels of parts, quality parts, for all different types of riders and needs and wants and things like that. It's the same thing as you might not race cars, but you might hook up your car with racing parts and aftermarket gear and all that kind of stuff to enhance the performance of your car, even though you don't race. So it's the same thing with bicycles, same thing with BMX. So the same rules apply. In other words, what else? Yeah, so just stop complaining, get on your bike, enjoy your bike the way you want to enjoy it. I know I've mentioned it on something in the video before, but it just keeps coming up. That topic just keeps coming up where people want to just gripe about certain things in cycling and in BMX and stuff like that. Also, people complain about nationals. If you don't like nationals, race local. The local scene needs you. The more people who race locals, the bigger the scene becomes. You don't have to go to a national. Yeah, the price increased on nationals. It is what it is. It doesn't mean I hate nationals. I had a great time the last time I went to a national. So just make the most out of it, Maybe just race. If you don't want to race, just ride practice days. Or, practice until it's time for the race to start. Get those laps in if you don't want to race. You know what I mean? So just make the most out of what you got. You only have one sanction. It's not two sanctions. So it is what it is. But I don't know. I just don't waste my time complaining about things that aren't really that important at the end of the day. But what's important is definitely building the local scene. That's important. Build up your state race series. We got state races. We got regional races, and you have local races. So you don't necessarily have to race a national. Well, regionals for USA BMX are called Gold Cups. So Gold Cups. But you can have a great time racing local, especially if you get some guys to come down that are your peers or in your age group to come participate. You can do that too. Okay. The hill got me. Queensbridge. Whew. Yeah, so there's that part, people. It's definitely more positive than negative, in my opinion. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Matter of fact, let me know some of the positive things about cycling, BMX, whatever, that I should like to point out. It's so easy, enticing to go down a rabbit hole of negativity. So, just for this time here, let's take a break from that and let me know in the comments what you like about BMX racing. Of course, there's room for improvement. Always room for improvement. I'm not saying there's not room for improvement. But oh, my legs are tired. Let me get this hill. Woo. Come on. This gear is like, it's actually a good climbing gear. Doesn't wear me out too much. I'm not too worn out. Woo! I'm at the top now. Oh boy. About to work my way down. Woo! Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Now the wind's blowing. Oh boy. Now the e-bike thing, that's a whole other story. Whew. This bike path here, e-bikes are prohibited. Mopeds are prohibited from riding on this. They make it real dangerous. Coming like 40 miles an hour behind you while you're trying to climb the hill. Not cool. Woo! But that's a story for another video. Oh yeah! Okay. If any of you guys watching are interested in seeing what BMX racing is about, the season is upon us. We're heading into May right now. It's late April. So by the time this video is up, all the tracks should be open. So what you should do is check out usabmx.com and find out where your nearest BMX track is and what time it's open, what day and time it's open. So you can go down there and check it out. And like I was saying before, you can ride your mountain bike, BMX bike, 20s, 24s, 26, anything off-road basically. Any off-road bicycle, non-motorized. You can go to a BMX track and do some practice laps or race or whatever. But definitely do that, because at the end of the day, if you want to get better at riding your bike overall, hop on a BMX track. It's like the Tai Chi of bicycle skill building, BMX racing, or just being able to ride a BMX track, pump track. And if you really want to get really good at riding your bike, I recommend you do it on a 20-inch. Excuse me. Thank you. So there's that. Oh gosh. Bumps. And then she's walking in. Oh, in the way. Get a flat tire messing around. Skidding. A little sketchy today, huh? Just a little bit. Okay. Here we go. Stopping for the bumps. Oh my gosh. Really sketchy today. Somebody coming across the street? I think so. Nope. Okay. It looked like somebody was going to cross the street. In between. That's always fun. Gotta look out for that. Alright. Everything's extra sketchy today. Extra sketchy. Probably because I'm riding a little faster than normal. Maybe. It's possible. Okay. Well, it must be kind of early. It can't be too late. I feel like I zipped through that one. Nope. I think it took me an hour. I think it took me an hour to get out here. What does Strava say? 53 minutes is not bad from where I came from. 53 minutes, 12 miles. Not bad. Not bad at all. Can't be mad at that. But now I only have less than an hour to get to my real destination. And it's going to take me a minute to do it. But this trip has concluded, party people. Hope you guys enjoyed this one and listen to me get my little rant on, and also talk about BMX bikes and what's good for commuting. His bike was awesome today on the commute. Really enjoyed the commute today.